Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Gary's Musings. It's midnight time. Welcome to the show. Glad to have you. Give it a few more minutes, let everybody sneak in. I wanted to talk about democracy tonight. We want democracy, or do we? That's a big question. Everybody's hollering, let's be free, let's be free, let's be free. Yeah. So, trying to find something here. So, how's everybody doing tonight? You got your coffee ready? You got your popcorn? Do we want to have a fight? Do we want to have a brawl? It's time to roll. Like I said, I was going to come on here tonight and talk about democracy in our country. Do we want it? You know, they talk about democracy like it's a shield, but many countries and civilizations have used democracy to rule the world. You get 50% of the people, you get 51, you have a democracy, you have mob rule. That's the way the Democrats started the KKK. That's how the Democrats brought on the Jim Crow, because the majority ruled. Majority ruled. What would happen if we gave everybody their democracy? Hey, Sherry Bell, good to have you. And there goes my Siri, of course. How many of you watched our buddy Sean tonight? Yeah, I'm gonna bring it up. You might have seen my short on my channel. If you haven't, go check it out. This is a friend now. This is a friend. Or so I thought. But that's all right. He can have his opinion. I've got mine. I love everybody. And everybody makes mistakes, even me. There's only one person that doesn't make mistakes, and that's our Lord Jesus. Oh, no. Oh, oh boy. Sherry, you missed the winner. I got stabbed in the back and stabbed all over. I don't like that stuff. I love everybody. I love the trolls. I love everybody. I just can't understand why people don't let people, don't give people a chance. He starts out his video, it's Memorial Weekend. What is Memorial Weekend? Well, Memorial Weekend is to honor the dead veterans. Honor the dead veterans. Hey, Fry, how you doing? Good to see you. I'm gonna bring up the panel later, but right now I want to stew. Nobody can tell me, nobody can accuse me of being unnice to anybody. It's all good, all good. I'm slowly recovering. I still get choked up, but like now, but I got excited a little bit earlier. But back to the Sean story. This is a friend. You can see on my short, how many times this joker calls me every day for piddly things. Yeah, I don't mind. I like to talk to people. And one person makes one mistake, and it's like, let's divide the whole patriotic party against each other again. Let's just divide everything. I don't operate that way. Never have, never will. But I will get back at Sean because he took me across the public forum, you know, like I was nothing. That he's almighty, I don't know, almighty something. Well, I'm going to put the post up here and let me see. Oh, here we go. Boy, it's been too long. Okay, why won't you let me do it? Hmm. Ah, didn't- Am I back? Am I back? Okay, yes, I'm back. Sorry about that. You push one button and you're gone. Thank goodness I could recover. They made it where you can recover now. But there's the link if you want to come up. If I don't know you, I won't bring you up. If I do know you, I will. Uh, Even Sean, if you're out there, I hold no hard feelings. I can understand, but just because a person is a veteran does not give him privilege to do whatever the heck they want. Hey, we need peace. Good to see you. Been a while. Been a long time. And hopefully I'll work my way back up in everybody's favor. So how many people want democracy? You don't know what happened. You mean about Sean? Sean got on there and bashed me, called me, names, and told me that I was not a patriot because I sided with Glory B. No, I don't side. I didn't side with anybody. It was an unfortunate incident that may or may not have been avoided. But people make mistakes. We all make mistakes every day, each and every one of us. Like I said, even me. And yes, Sherry, I, the guy calls me 5, 6 times a day, and talk to him. And I advise him, try to help him, try to get his lives going. Tell him technical information that I know. Very supportive. He has a disability. He was shot. He has a disability, and he tries. But yes, he needs to let it go. She made a mistake. She has to live with it. If it was a mistake, that's not for me to say. It's not for him to say. It's not for any one of us to say. Anything any one of us do, unless it involves us personally, is none of our business. It's between the parties that were involved. And I guess that they, just pass it on. Let's let it go. But he won't let it go. He will not let it go. So from now on, I'm done with him. No amount of begging is going to bring me back to his cause. He's a nobody. And I don't talk about people. Everybody knows me here. All of you here have known me for years, just about. I don't talk about people. I don't degrade them. But this is not the first, this is not the first time it's happened. That's right. That's right. We need peace. And there's nobody can cast that first stone. I don't like it. I don't abide by it. It's just not me. But I let him have it tonight, and I got a little bit frustrated. So some of my stuff on there might be just, off the wall, over the edge, But I've had time to cool down, think about it, cut my losses. Yeah, a lot of us have. It's unfortunately, we've been through a lot. A lot of people said things that they regretted, and but we have to pick up and move on. Exactly, Sherry. Exactly. And I found out the hard way, but that's all I can say about it. But really, what I wanted to talk about was, where's this world coming to? Everybody's hollering democracy, democracy. We want democracy. And like I said, we've had democracy through all the civilizations. In fact, the Romans, which is always brought out, it's, they voted to throw Christians to the lions. That was democracy. And it goes all the way through from the Greek to the Romans to the French, to, all the way to us. What would happen if we just said, "Hey, we want democracy for the whole Western Hemisphere. Let's throw ballots out the plains for freedom, for democracy in Canada and Mexico and everywhere." What if we opened our borders and said, all come, democracy. Democracy. What would this world turn into? It'd be pure chaos. It's impossible. There is no utopia. No utopia. Hey, Billy Bob, good to see you. There is no utopia out there. We can chase it all we want, but we'll never get to it. Never get to it. And it would be pure chaos. Everybody trying to get their own piece of the freedom, their own idea, hey, 50% mob rule, we can do anything. And that's exactly why we do that, Sherry. We have our constitutional republic. We have our constitution that we go by. We are represented. We choose our representatives. Sometimes not so good. And we've kind of relinquished that hold. We let them do what they want to do. We don't talk back. We're like everybody says, we're sheeple. We need to stand up, voice our opinion, and be heard. Constantly stay on them, keep them in line if we can now. They've got such a hold on everything. I don't know what it's going to take to get it back the way it should be. I've pondered this for many years. Many years. I saw it coming. I talked about it till I'm blue in the face. But we have to do more than talk. We have to show some kind of action. And we're not going to do it fighting amongst ourselves. Not at all. All we'll do is just tear ourselves down. We won't have any say because nobody will want to stand behind us. All they do is fight with each other. You come in peace, well, that's good. As long as you stay in peace, you're fine. Yeah, I have friends that are trolls. I go in places where there are trolls. It don't bother me. They can say what they want because, most of the time things are said that are really silly. Everybody knows that, it's not true. And that's the way life is. We win some, we lose some. And I'm old enough to know that and realize that. I've seen it. I've seen it all my life. It doesn't bother me. Some people want to run and hide from it. Like, it's going to bother, Some of the stuff is bothering, especially when you talk about people's deceased loved ones and, you talk bad about their family. And that's stupid. I mean, that's like grade school, kindergarten. And we shouldn't do that. It grieves me every time I see it. Everybody's a human being. Everybody puts their pants on the same way. And whatever, we all go through our ritual. Every day, we all do practically the same thing. We're all trying to get to that golden ring. We want this for that. Oh, I understand all that. I've been around. I know that. I know there's some people who deserve it. Some people don't. But we got to get along. We got to live in the same world, side by side. Shoot, you could live next door to me, and be saying this online. Who knows? We don't know. And this is all part of the democracy. Democracy isn't it's not the answer. Definitely not the answer. As in our Constitution, we have the ability to have the electoral college that evens out the states. It gives them representatives to compete with the smaller states, can be as strong as the bigger states. And the more populated states won't be any stronger than the little populated states. That's the way we work. That's right, Billy Bob. We were close, but the greed just steps in and kills everything. People need to come back to God or the faith that this country is right, or this, we have the right ideas. Whatever you believe in, everybody's moral to the biggest part. They have a moral conscience. They know what's right. They know what's wrong. And we need to strive to whatever moral goal we have. A lot of us aren't that far apart. Even the leftists, they have some good ideas. They have some bad ideas. But, oh boy, since Obama, it's been a war. Since they started with, it started with the John McCain campaign with the target, everybody become an enemy. I have no enemies. I don't look at somebody as an enemy. Nobody. That's right. We need peace. We have people in every group that wants to bring it down. They made MAGA a bad word. And I don't holler MAGA. I say, make America great again. That's what it means. That's what it means. Make America great again. What is wrong with that? People see the American flag when you're having a flag wave. They cuss the American flag and say, F Trump, F Trump. They see Trump's face in that flag. Do we want that for democracy? Well, 50% of the people would say F Trump, The other 50% say MAGA. I don't discuss neither one, really. Maybe the trolls, but I don't discuss anybody in person with anybody. With nobody. We need to say it. We need to say it instead of, putting initials to it. We need to say it over and over and over. Make America great again. That's not Trump. That should be all of us. Each and every one of us. Don't tread on me. And they're treading on us, and they're walking all over us. There you go, Nobby. And in Canada, they want to make Alberta great again. I hope that they come up with something better than what they have now, because right now I look at Canadian politics and I say, oh my Lord, how do they keep things straight? The one party, they use different color cards, and whatever their pronoun is, they get more points in different colors, and they get to talk in that order. I couldn't figure it out. I don't know what they were doing. I don't know how they keep up with what's going on. It's pathetic. And England's the same way. Sorry, Nobby. But we have people like Nobby. He's doing his job over there in the UK. In England. We've got to do it everywhere around the world. This is not just a US thing. We need freedom everywhere. Liberty. And one thing gets me, they have the right to protest. That First Amendment says nothing about protesting. It says peaceful assembly. I knew that would get. That's why I said it. I knew that would get you. uh, arr. Nobby's a good old boy. The British Isles. Okay. I heard somebody the other day say, "Well, we had the cross in our British flag. We had the St. George's cross in our flag." And I don't believe that this is maybe. Oop, I lost it. Okay. We do not need government control. We need to control the government. We've lost that ability. And it may come down to a big fight for it. That's right. We've grown it and grown it, and they're still talking about adding to the Supreme Court, bringing in more representatives, gerrymandering by color, by race, by creed. These states need to make it where everybody's equal. No color, no status, just a voting individual. Whatever party they belong to, that's who they belong to. It used to be that way. You signed up to vote, you took your party's affiliation, you voted by party or whatever, and that was it. They didn't worry about where you lived and how many this is there and how many that's there. It shouldn't matter who is there, as long as they're legal to vote. And I'm saying legal to vote, and we know what legal to vote means. They can color it every way they want. But the Constitution does not give people from other countries the right to vote in our country. Period. You have to become a citizen. That's mandatory. Otherwise, we should just, like I said earlier, we should just open up our borders, say, come on in, let's have a free for all. Whatever you want, it's a go, you know. You want to vote for it? Come on, let's vote for it equally. People aren't equal. They're only as equal as they want to be. Everybody can rise to the occasion or fall to the occasion. There's no equal person. You're right, Sherry. They all have the ability to get an education, get a job, take care of their family, no matter how much money they make. And people can buy as much jewelry as they want from Glory B. I don't default her that. That's her income. You're talking about that's her job. That's what she does. You know, to undignify that is atrocious. I know you're not Sean, so, you know, get off of it. Come back as yourself, because that makes you just as much a coward as he is. He ain't going to come up here. He ain't got the guts. So, you know, you take your Midwest easy going and go on down the road. Oh, Mideast. Oh, excuse me. You're right. I'm sorry. But anyway, welcome. But I stick to what I said, you know. You're talking about a person's income. And, however she does it, that's her business. There's many out there that they raffle off things. It takes a lot of money to run an online live. It takes a lot of money. You have to buy the equipment. You have to keep the equipment maintained. I don't go anywhere, so I can sit here and use my phone and do what I can here. But many of them go out and travel, which takes money. Well, now even more. I don't blame Sean for going out and showing the car shows and the parades and the fairs and the bands. That's life. That's life. That's what we do. We bring it to you. And I feel in my heart, if you really like the person, you really like what they say, you should subscribe and donate to them instead of giving it to mainstream media. You subscribe to everything. For the live streamers, you say they're grifted. These guys are sitting in front of a teleprompter that's putting the same thing in every TV studio across the world, multitasking it everywhere. They sit there reading the prompter, making millions of dollars. Well, he's got East, so he's not really a fake account. I checked; he's got a stream. I think. Let me look at it again. Go to channel. He has one subscriber, so that's probably Sean. But anyway, I think it was said 7 months when I looked at it. Is that right, Mitty? Oop. Yeah, Sean's picture. I know. That's another thing. Using somebody else's picture. That breaks my heart. I'm flattered sometimes with some of mine, I'm flattered. Okay. Wow, that's a long. What was your? Well, they changed your name when you changed it on your profile. So yeah, I guess it could be 7 months. But you have the right to do it just as much as I have the right to come on here and speak. I mean, come on, people. They might be a pain in the neck, but they're there. I don't understand, guys. There's two things in the Bible that you should go by. John 3:16. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him shall not perish. And I said believeth, not believe. Believeth is a stronger word. Shall not perish, have everlasting life. The other things is the 10 Commandments. The 10 Commandments covers everything. Think about it. Research it. See what it doesn't cover. It's like our Constitution. Number 1, we have the 10 Commandments. 2, we have the Magna Carta. 3, we have the second best is the Constitution. We had the Constitution to go by. And believe me, it covers just darn near everything. There are a few flaws here and there, but generally covers everything. I understand. A lot of people do that. I don't know, in another world, I probably do the same thing. I may get. But no, that goes against my principles. It goes against my beliefs. It goes against everything. So I cannot do it. Good night. We need peace. Love you. Come by anytime I'm on, which is rarely here lately. It's been 2 years since I've been on, steadily. I've been on other people's channels, on panels, and, keeping my word out there. Sometimes getting myself in trouble, but, I try to spread the word. I made a vow that I would go for freedom and victory my whole life to my last grasp. And that's what I'll do. That's what I will do. I have never heard or read that, Nobby, because I stick with the Bible. I go by its word, and I get in trouble because of its word. Genesis, right, Fry? I speaking of that, I'm gonna bring that into the discussion too. I just noticed and realized, where have I been? That's right. We need peace. That's what I do each and every day. And every night before I close my eyes and go to sleep, I pray for all the haters. I pray for all the trolls. And people say, I ain't going to pray for them. No, everybody needs God. Everybody. And that's another goal. God first. If you have God first, who could be against us? And I totally believe that. I watch people in the riots. They proclaim Jesus' name and everything, and the people around them would just screech and move. They would run. Actually, watch them run by just saying Jesus' name. That's powerful. People, look at it, well, look at, that's no big deal, but it is a big deal. It goes to show where the name of Jesus goes to. Later, Gator. Yep. You have a good night. That's right. We never know. And the Lord didn't tell us to take people to church. He never mentioned church. He didn't even talk about a church. He said the church was his people, his community. He never talked about a structured, rarely went to the temple. But the Bible tells us that we cannot get to heaven or the Lord by deeds alone. We have to believe, as in John 16. And we have to believe strong. We have to keep believing and keep believing. Even in doubt, keep believing. That's what it means. It means keep on going, keep on trucking. Yeah, we are the church. This is the church. Where two or three are gathered together, there I will be also. And he means that. That's what he said. There's a lot of history, a lot of stuff in the Bible, a lot of stuff that'll throw us into a frenzy. But if you actually take the basics and the knowledge, yes, indeed, she did. She was scared. She didn't know what was going on. It was in the heat of the moment. Things happened that you might regret later. You might not regret. I don't think it's any of our business, to down somebody for what they thought in the heat of the moment. And she was, not taken up for it, but she was she felt threatened. And that's all I'll say. I'm not taking sides. I'm just saying we all do things, that may not look right or sound right. I may say something tonight, you know, it may not look and sound good. Shoot, you know, I'm just a human. We're all human. That's right, Sherry. Stop harping on it. It should have been buried a long time ago. To bring it up on Memorial Day and talk about veterans that are alive, instead of honoring our deceased, he's bringing up a hot subject. It's not right. It's not right at all. And I was so, I got carnal. I tell you that I almost said a few bad things, but I kept my cool, stayed my same self. Most I did was call him a moron, but I said it to his face. I did not go behind his back. Everything I've said here, I told him on the live. You can go back and watch it. And maybe not all sane, but you can get the gist of it. Because I can't type. I don't type good. I can't talk text because it changes everything I say. And I don't want pity for it. I can stand my ground. I'm my man. I believe what I believe. You all know what I believe. And I'm not stepping away from it. Not stepping away from it one bit. That is my freedom. And he knew I wouldn't come on there till 10 o'clock. And that's exactly when he started. If you go back, he has his right to his opinion. But when you go against a movement and talk about people in the movement behind their backs, he has never spoke to Glory B. I told him, go talk to her about it. Don't tell us, talk to her. And, I've talked to Glory B, yes. I have friends everywhere. I talked to her online. I was on her stream today, talked to her. I talk to everybody. I go on Tommy Temper. I talk to everybody. Hey, I don't wear my faith on my sleeve. I go everywhere. And if I'm going to run from it, I'm not going to go on anything, I'm not going to run. The first thing he did was he had to go. He had to get off of there. He had to go. He couldn't put nobody up. He couldn't talk about it. Just try to make me look silly or something. I don't know what he was trying to do. I thinking about it, I don't understand the goal. I mean, even today you can look on there. First call this morning was from Sean. I think it was 7 o'clock this morning. How many of you all are up at 7 o'clock in the morning? Well, I was, but that's neither here or there. Calm down, Carrie. But yes, I believe everything is in the Bible. I'm trying to study Enoch because I believe it has a big part to play in the Bible, with the Bible, alongside the Bible. 5:45 there, a.m. Yeah, it is. It is early. Well, I usually get up between 4 and 6. I shouldn't say that, but I get I nap during the day. I get 2 or 3 hours, maybe 3 times a day. An acquaintance of mine died today, Kyle Bush. Pray for his family. His brother Kurt. I met Kurt. I went to his garage in North Carolina. I was doing something for the bowling center. I had a pit crew league where all the people in the pit crews would come and bowl on a certain night, on their night off. So I walked up there and Kurt was sitting on top of his engine of his Bush car, messing with the carburetor, working his own car. That's the way the Bushes were. They did their own thing. Even Kyle. Kyle, when he first started, was the same way. He was just as much involved in the mechanics of it as he was the driving. But most of the older drivers were that way. Rusty Wallace, Jeff Bodine, Alan Klicki. Oh my gosh, I worked with Alan Klicki right at the time that he passed away. And then Jimmy come in, Jimmy Spencer. Worked with Jimmy and Jeff Bodine. I was in the shop and I volunteered. When I volunteered in the shop, they gave me the pass, a VIP pass for the races. We bartered. I wasn't actually, hey, Party Bonza. That's right. That's right. You got to stand for something. I don't know. I don't know what we're trying to prove fighting against each other. But I tell you what, my support is gone. He will get no support from me. Good, bad, or indifferent. He was maybe on the right track, what he was doing, and guess what? Who do you think helped him along? You can see who helped him along. Anybody wants help, I help. I'm just that way. Everybody that I've been on their channel, I have tried to help, to bring them up, to push them to the top. I don't do it for myself. I guess some people think that because, I've been shown many times. And I will continue to do it. That's just me. Everybody here knows. That's the way I roll. I've told many of you many times, I'll give them a chance. I give them a chance. And they will walk all over me. But no more. No more. I think I think he has some good ideas, but he needs to. I've told him many times, you need to control yourself. You need to control your anger. You need to quit. Quit doing this. Start doing this. Advice along the way. That's right. You can only turn, and my cheeks are all gone. My cheeks are all gone. But we all got to strive to help each other, And he told me before it was a mistake. And then when he told me, that's why you're not a mod on my channel. Oh, boy. I don't want to be a mod. I am not a mod. I think people have the right to speak. as long as they're decent. Now, there's a point. There are some people that I just will not tolerate. So I guess I'm not a mod. That's right. And that was done too. Jesus shook his sandals and cleaned his feet off and gone. Exactly. Exactly. I talk to a lot of you guys offline as much as I do online. And I do my best. I'm not bragging. And I'm not really complaining. I'm just saying this is the way it is. You know, we can either like it or lump it and and go on our merry way. And that's what I'm doing. Hasta la vista, baby. Buddy, buddy, buddy. And I hope he's watching. Because I tried. Everybody say, Carrie, don't. But I did. But I'm on the record saying I am done. And anybody on this channel that don't want to, that wants to pick that, fine. That's your prerogative. I'm not saying anything bad against you. But believe me, you'll see it. You'll find out. Other people found out. Other people have turned to trolls just to get to him. Now, that's the bad part. A lot of people were his friend. I can see it. That's right, Sherry. Yeah. me and you know each other. You're my partner. Is Fry still here? I know I get a lot of friction by saying, talking about flat Earth. It's not that I'm a flat earther, just I question. I question everything. The Bible tells me in the beginning in Genesis, it's earth was planted on solid foundations with a firmament, a dome over it. And I just realized lately that globalists think we're talking about a flat earth rotating in space like the globe is. I just realized that. They say it's impossible for a flat disk to be rotating in the universe. Well, it's not rotating. The Bible says it's solid. It's on pillars. The four corners are anchored down. Yeah, Party Bonza. He was here earlier. I hope he's listening. If we believe the Bible, we have to believe everything. And it wasn't until NASA really took over that people start, well, it was before NASA, say the 1800s, where they started putting globes in everywhere. And they stitched it together, But everybody knows the further you go south, the more ice wall you get. The more you go along the ice wall, the more it goes. And it goes, and it goes, and it goes. And I'm sure they tried to get around it. I'm sure they've tried to travel around it. But it goes, and goes, and goes. You send a balloon up into the atmosphere without a wide angle lens, and everything looks straight. You send it up there with a wide angle lens, it has a curve, which is, fisheye. Fisheye. They really get us, Nobby. How much weed do you smoke? I can't smoke the stuff. That's just my brain. That's just my brain. Willing minds want to know, want to know. But I confess to believe the Bible. I profess to believe in God. So what more can I profess? They can call me all the names they want, flat earther, whatever. It don't bother me. It's just like this other stuff, I believe in the Word. And the Word is God. But it's just like, we just went to the moon around we went ring around the rosy, to 22,000 degree Fahrenheit radiation and heat. I would not volunteer for that trip. How many of you have been to Cape Canaveral or Cape Kennedy? How many here? How many of the 12 have been to the Space Center? I live about 50 miles, maybe 60. Yeah, every now and then, Nobby. You look at those landers and you say, that looks like a tent. And when I was a kid, I was a young kid. I was 13. We came to Florida when John F. Kennedy was assassinated. The day he was assassinated, we left for Florida. All we heard all the way down to Florida was the funeral dirge on the radio. Sad day. And we went to Cape Canaveral, it was called back then. And they had all those rockets and everything. Oh, I was into rockets big time. I loved rocketry. I loved all that stuff, And I see this stuff and see how flimsy it was and think, man, no, this was after I was older because we hadn't lifted off. We hadn't got to the moon by that time. But later on, I wasn't too much older. After the moon shot, they had the lander there and the moon rocks and all that good stuff, on display. And the lander was so chintzy. I asked my dad, I said, they went to the moon with that? Now we see all these photographs and everything. Think, man, were we bamboozled? The wind on the flag, the footsteps. Who took the photographs? Who took the videos? Just little questions, who did this? Who did that? Where's the burn marks for when they, supposedly landed? I'm trying to read Nobby and Sherry's comments. Oh, you have the card. Oh, okay. So you have to, yeah. Well, we have to have a card too usually, but they don't enforce it. No, some of the astronauts actually admitted to, they didn't go to the moon. Yeah, we actually did that. Being funny, off the wall comments, without coming out and saying, no, we didn't. No, we didn't. And, I've been over there for launches and things like that. And I know that the towers, the towers, they're quite a ways from the public. They don't let you get close. But binoculars and stuff, you can see what's going on. And they have service elevators for the employee. I know some employees on the tower have known. A lot of them are gone now. Have known, and they have elevators that take them back and forth to the capsule, what have you. And the workers don't wait to the last second to go down the escape cable, that they have there. If 4 people left just as it was igniting, going up. What's up with that? And then there was an instance of a plane coming by. And guess what? The plane disappeared from the video. Hey, poop. Yeah, I deserve it. But, you got to live and learn. Got to live and learn. So, I can't say that they didn't, but I can't say that they actually did. Everything's pointing that they didn't. Yeah, Nobby's in our future. Wow. Nobby's in our future. What does our future hold, Nobby? Does anybody want to come up and correct me? I think it's still up there. Yeah. Yeah. Man, they've changed StreamYard so much I'm lost. I don't think so. I don't think so. That would be cool, wouldn't it? Hey, Terry, how's it been? It's been a while. How is Arizona? The one thing I say, California, they made it where, I saw where Walmart, the state's making Walmart verify that they're paying the minimum wage of 18, whatever it is, $18 and whatever. They're making Walmart verify that they're paying their employees that much. They want their $20 an hour minimum wage, right, Party Bonza? They want that minimum wage. I'm sorry, Party Bonza lives out there, but I say, if you want that minimum wage, you deserve the $10 a gallon gas. If you want your state to keep raising everything into oblivion, then keep it the way it is. They did, not all the people, but most of the people deserve it. The ones that fight against it, they need to stay there and fight harder. And that's everywhere in the country. You start if your state starts talking this BS, fight it with everything you got. Oh my goodness. And they give like, I don't understand. I know there's a lot of rich people out there, a lot of movie stars and swimming pools, movie stars. You better move to Beverly Hills. But yeah, you're right. It doesn't end. And they give. I can imagine, Terry. I can imagine. And I say salute to our friend Ricky. His birthday's coming up the 24th. Man, I miss that dude. Me and him could talk all night. I mean, about everything. Yeah, you're in line to get that $20 an hour. No, you can't work in fast food or hotels. You don't have the right language. That's for sure. Ricky was the best friend I never met. And I can honestly say that. And hopefully I can put something in celebration of his birthday, Give him some honor. In fact, my logo back there, let me see. Yeah. Can I make it smaller? No. How do I get me off of there? I like that last one. It says coffee time. Ricky wanted to have coffee time, but we never got it. We got it one time, and that was it. Yeah, this is just entry level. They forget that the minimum wage is for entry level work, and ain't nobody in a McDonald's fast food period, deserves $20-$30 an hour. No, I'm using StreamYard right now. Using StreamYard. I tried the EV Mux. I don't know. I just don't like it. A lot of people love it. It makes for good pictures and stuff, but it doesn't. I don't know. I'll have to get my computer up and running. I'm on the phones now, but I'll have to get it back up and running. See if there's any difference. Yeah, the prices of everything just has to go up to meet the what's going out. They don't understand economics. There's people think that I saw that this one kid it's pretty popular now, shows these liberal people and what they're saying, that makes fun of them. But and I can't show none on my phone because it doesn't give me the ability to show my screen on the phone. So I have to do with what I have either saved or, in case y'all haven't seen, I can do this. Let me see here. Oh no, I don't have. Yeah, shoot. Give me just a second. If I go out, I'll come back. If I get knocked off, I'll come back in. Yeah, okay, now this is a touchy part here. Am I still here? Okay, I can't do it. You sipping your brew? Okay, I couldn't do it. So, but everybody look at my short. You could, you know, it explains everything. What was I talking about? I went brain dead. But anyhow, we have to stand together. We have to band together, or we're going to be priced out of existence. Now, what they're trying to do now is make $4, $5 gallon gas seem like that's going to. They want that to be the going price. The gas companies. It doesn't matter what the president says, the Congress says, or anybody says. That's what they want. Yeah, we're taxed to the hilt. And what did we dump a whole load of tea for? What did we start a war for? The same darn thing. What's the lira to a dollar? I know I could look it up, but I'd probably lose everybody. It's just like in Canada, their leader is their leader is 3 liters, just about to our gallon. Yeah, they control the prices. And there's, the president that they give Trump a lot more credit than he's really, a lot more credit than he's asking for. It makes him look like he's king, makes him look like he's telling them what to do, but the president can only do so much. The rest of the time he has to bluff it. And he's playing a good game. He's playing a good chess game. There's some things I agree with. There's some things I don't agree with. I'm not 100%, 100% Trumpian. I know that Iran had to come to this sometime sooner or later, which it come, I think, right at the right time. Right at the right time. Because they were getting ready. And we saw how Iran would act with the way they fired their conventional weapons. Could you imagine if they hit those places with nukes? Where would we be now? And there may be conflict from here on out. Not war, but, spats. Because all they got to do right now is sit back and wait. Well, let's see what happens in 3 years. This is the burden that Trump has on his shoulders. Do I finish them off now? Or do we let them wait 3 years to see what happens? That's what's on our shoulders, too. That's what we're looking at. We're looking at our future. That's right, Cher. They think that the president controls everything, but he can't. He has restrictions as much as everybody else. And then we have the cabals that's sitting up there with their high and mighty dollar trying to buy the world. And he's fighting them at the same time, trying to get them out of their locking hold. This is what we're looking at, folks. This is not, the U.S. This is the world. This is the world in its glory. And he has to keep us going here in the States, plus squash all this other stuff. We have so many things going on. We have the Muslims that want to come here and act like they're still in their old country. They want to bring their law here to supersede our Constitution. They want to stop New York City traffic by 5 times a day, kneeling in the middle of Fifth Avenue. And that's just New York City. Can you imagine it everywhere? Could you imagine us living under that in their type of democracy? Getting back to the subject, their democracy? I can't. And I have Muslim friends, and they know what's going on. And according to their book, they could lie to us. We're infidels. That's their privilege to lie to us, be kind to us. And Nabi's probably seeing it firsthand, exactly what I'm talking about. And right now, they can do no wrong, Oh, let's build them a big epic city. Let's let them take over our whole city. Hire their police and hire their enforcement and their government, their structure. Let's take over their biggest city in the country, New York City. Shame on us. Shame on us. Just turned a blind eye and said, no, they'll never do it. Yes, they will. They said they're going to put the Islamic flag on the White House. Just like the communists back in the 50s said they were going to take over our schools. And they did. Yeah, we shouldn't even have to pay tax. I mean, they never had property tax until the 21st century or 20th century, 1900s. Until basically after the war. Well, it started in the 20s, but, they gradually snookered everybody. This will be good for this will be good for that. It's just like our credit card system. We got the bank card, our debit card, and we're tied to digital. Well, now what do they want to do? They want to digitize everything where they know everything we do, every step we take, every purchase we make. Well, they already know that. If we don't have any cash, it's all online, we're owned. We are owned. Yes, they did, Nobby. And that's sad. That is sad. It's like the capital of your country, London. I don't know. They've got their our I don't know about England, but here in the U.S. we give them credit cards, we give them lodging, we give them food, we give them medical attention, and we shouldn't have to do any of it. York, well, you got just as much. You guys over there have just well, you have more work to do than we do because you have to overthrow the king. You have to do away with your prime ministers the way they think. You have to do away with the occupation. It's scary. I'm looking at all this stuff and thinking, it might be in England, but that affects us too. It affects Canada. And look what Canada's going through. Alberta's trying to gain their freedom. But let's hope they can have common sense and bring it down to, small government with big oversight. And I don't have the answers. I study history. I've seen a lot of this stuff take place. I mean, halfway through the century, in the 1900s when I was born, halfway through that century, I've seen it from Truman all the way up. And I've been snookered a few times myself, I see all these. I've seen all these farmers being targeted, arrested. I've seen the Indians surrounded, arrested, massacred. I've seen a little boy sent back to Cuba, and now they've got him so brainwashed he hates America. Elian Gonzalez. I've seen Waco, people trying to practice their religions armed, and because they were armed, they were a threat. And I see the Democratic Party bring up the Ku Klux Klan. Yeah, I've never met a Klansman and don't want to meet a Klansman. I'm not a white supremacist. But I think they use the boogeyman to scare everybody. They still use it on our blacks, and they're traumatized by it. Without any doubt, they're traumatized. But it's a boogeyman. It doesn't exist. They changed it to Black Lives Matter. Right in front of our eyes, they switched from KKK to Black Lives Matter. And what happened there? The leaders stole all the money and bought mansions. We are so gullible. We bring in all the Somalians. What do? The biggest fraud that's ever been committed on the U.S. We are such doofuses. And who was it said you turn the cheek? Here earlier. He's right. We turn the cheek. We need to run out of cheeks. We need to fight back. Not physically. We just need to start arresting protesters because there's no constitutional right to a protest. Peaceful assembly. That's what the First Amendment says. Peaceful assembly. What does that consist of? throwing objects at officers, getting in the officers' faces, cussing them, whistling them, deafening them, hitting people with signs. Oh, excuse me, pardon me. They need to all be arrested and spend a few days in jail. I'm not saying a long time, but more than in and out. If you take your vehicle and you aim it at a cop and you put it in gear, what are you? Let me ask that question. What are you? If you aim your vehicle at an officer, what are you? If you're being searched for weapons and reach for your buttock, what are you? Just think about it. If you're on the ground, find the gun on you, and you reach for your butt, what does that tell any law enforcement officer? That's the bottom line on both of those tragedies. And people say, oh, he wasn't doing nothing but helping a woman. Oh, they weren't doing nothing but waiting for vehicles to go through. They were waiting their chance to get back in the roadway. Bull crap. Bull crap. The minute she put that car in gear, she was threatening with bodily harm. Bodily harm. I don't care how they ordered her, what they were law enforcement. They had the right to order her. Anyway, they did it. And it's gotten out of profanity, hollering is acceptable, even by police. I remember the day the police officer couldn't cuss you couldn't cuss them. You called him a pig, you were going to jail. And that was bad, just calling them a pig. Where have we come to? We used to respect our law enforcement officers. Yes, sir. No, sir. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. You didn't spit in their face. You didn't holler at them. You didn't touch them. My goodness, back in my day, you touched them, you were on the ground. Probably regretting it. We got to get back to some semblance of dignity in our world. There's no dignity whatever. None. Nada. Not even to our own group, our own friends, our own. Yeah. Like we started in the beginning. We lost it all. That's what democracy brings us, Nobby. We say we're being nice to the Muslim. That's democracy. We're saying we're being nice to the protester. Let them protest. That's democracy. That's democracy in its finest. Let them do what the hell they want to do. We have to stop. No mas. Every protester on that line, they ought to take one of them illegals and put them in their household for a couple months. Make them take care of them. Send them to Palestine to help out in humanitarian aid. They don't want to go to Iran. That's right. That's right, Nobby. And the law ends, the tyranny begins. Pure chaos. There is no utopia. Now, these young college kids, they think, oh, I know what I was getting to. I was trying to find that kid. That reminded me, I was trying to find that kid with the. It's about as good as. Yeah. He brings these libs up. Some of the things they say, like, well, they ought to pay us money. Where do they get the money from? Where do they get the money from? Pay us, pay us. They think there's a machine that should give them money whenever they want. They don't realize it has to come from taxpayers' pockets. College educated, supposedly. They don't know where the government money comes from. They don't know how it's operated. Even some of our correct congressional people do not know the laws, and they don't know the system. They go into that Congress and they try to find a more stupid way to enforce another law that's already in the books. They try to make big government run everything and bow down to them. What are we going to do? That's a lot to say there, Terry. The police are corrupt, and they're going to become corrupt because their hands are tied. They see it day in and day out. They do their job. What do they get? They get kicked in the back. They get reprimanded. So why not make good of the situation and do your own thing? That's human philosophy, you know? They don't understand they get tired of it, just give up. Well, I might as well make money doing something, you know. If they can do that, I can do this. We got to clean the whole system. I mean, from the top to the bottom, actually from the bottom up. Start locally, work our way up, cut the roots out. I mean, we've got groups. I'll take Disney, for instance, since it's next door. Disney has always been kind of pedophilia. And the gays saw this, and they took an opportunity to get their foothold into Disney. And you saw, you know, I've seen, you know, since, you know, I have friends that worked at Disney, and, you know, used to be, you know, you couldn't have a beard. You had to be clean shaven, your hair above your ears. You know, you had to be a decent, respectable person. Well, they started hiring gay people. I'm not saying anything against being gay. I'm just saying they started hiring exactly just that person. Look where it is now. Look where it is now. If you're not gay, you don't work at Disney. They've got men with beards playing fairies. Give me a break. I mean, is that what we want for our children? And that's what I'm, you know, when they're at home in their privacy, doing their own thing, you know, even out on the street, you know, fine, as long as they're over 21. Leave our kids out of it. They're educating our kids, putting their flag along with our American flag in the class. Really, sometimes not even the American flag is allowed. Yeah, it's getting toxic, Terry. Yeah, it's pathetic. No, I mean it's worldwide. I mean, and Disney is worldwide. It's and people pay big bucks to go to that garbage. I mean, you can't even drive from. I live 15 miles from the main gate. You can't even drive past Disney on I-4 without stopping, starting, stopping, starting. Take you 45 minutes to get through there at times, and that's like a 10-mile stretch. People paying big bucks to go to that place. It actually is. It's a throne to the devil. That's what it's become. Everything is our entertainment, our movies are glorifying Lucifer. And it's just as much a spiritual war as it is a political war. That's right. That's the executive branch. And since when can the Supreme Court overdo the top executive branch? Every Saturday night, we watch Aladdin, the genie, all that stuff. Yeah. Yeah, and Star Wars was kind of pointing our present day stuff coming up and what we what the future could hold. It was kind of political in its own. We've had we've had a lot of movies and things that point out where we're going wrong, how it can end up. We should know better, but we're well, how do I say we're being lulled into a trance, instead of taking it and doing something about it. We just sit back and say, "Oh, it's just a movie." But believe me, it's been pointed out there's a lot more to them than a movie. Yeah. Well, hey, that's coming. That's Terminator. I mean, we all watched Terminator. And what are we doing? We're building them faster. We're wishing it on ourselves. It's pretty bad. Well, there was one meme where a guy put a picture of a clock up with the time in front of a iPad and asked him what time it was. Uh, yeah, showing the iPad what time it was, and it was with a camera. Hmm. Wow, intelligent. But our Wi-Fi, our phones, they listen, they record. They could, between all the communication in one room, they can get a really good picture of what we're doing at any time on any day. Think about it. TV has camera. We don't see it, but It's there, recording everything we do. Oh no. Oh no. Turn that TV around. But this is the life we live in. And, you know, it may sound science fiction-y, but it's true. And why in the heck do we need all these data centers? No, Nobby? I hope not. Can you imagine? Oh boy, can you imagine the person watching that stream? They must be gay. Yeah, that was even woke back then. Yeah, yeah. Unfortunately, well, we went from My Three Sons and Lassie. We went from good, the cowboy with a white hat and a black hat. Well, they crushed that for us. They crushed that big. We can't live like that. That's too goody. We got to show the real thing. you know, I would not doubt anything, Nobby. To tell you the truth, the way they've got these cameras, you could, you could have a pinpoint. It could be a camera. We are. Big Brother is watching and watching and building data centers and building them bigger and stronger, taking all of our water, telling us it's a drought. We're getting plenty of rain. Getting plenty of rain. Yeah, they're doing it off our dime, Terry. They're pirating us. If you wish upon a toilet, cloud seeding, data centers, solar panels are the worst. And we buy it. Wind farms, big old towers. And what do they bring us? I've heard from 1 to 10% of our electric power going to Disney, from here to Disney on the toll road that goes around everything for 20 miles, nothing but solar panels. And where does it go? Straight to Disney. Straight to Disney. And what do? They increase their prices on you. So you'll go and wish the fantasies. Everybody likes a good fantasy. But my goodness, they're indoctrinating us too in the fantasies. And we like sheep to the slaughter, cows to the slaughter. Just go through that gate, click, 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 click. Yeah, it helps. It helps to a certain extent, but it can't do the total thing. And they say that it keeps, what What do we use petroleum for? They're trying to do away with the oil business and stamp out oil. What do they do with petroleum? Everything we use is made of petroleum, just about. I mean, our phones are petroleum based, our covers are petroleum based, our TVs, our clothes, our shoes, everything comes from oil. Just about our plastics, everything we survive on day in and day out is now petroleum based. The power that goes into that electric car is by petroleum based electric companies. Oh, we just plug it into this plug right here and it just comes out automatically. Well, it could if they would have listened to Tesla. But no, there was no money in free electricity. Electricity is in everything, everywhere. It's everywhere. I mean, we know it. We know it. But we keep paying that electric company, you know. Anybody that comes up with a better idea, they disappear. I knew a guy that could run an engine on just about anything. Well, he didn't make it. And, you know, my dad was trying to come up with that stuff and he saw it. He saw it. He said, well, nope, nope, nope. Can't fight it. Can't fight it. Bless his heart, my dad was a Democrat. But he wasn't like the Democrats. He was a Republican. He just didn't know it. He was like all of our fellow black people, you know. The unions told him, you know, you got to be this. You're not union if you're not Democrat. You're not black if you don't vote Democrat. This is what we hear, and they don't want to be racist, but yet every little thing that comes out, well, that won't help our fellow black people. You know, they can't get a driver's license. I can't get a birth certificate. I'm still trying. One more step. I got to send tomorrow my paperwork. I hope. So, yeah, and here we are. And it really makes me think about where we'll be. Right now, oh, David Clemens started following me. Thank you, David. That's a good man right there. If you don't watch Professor David Clemens, start doing it. That guy is wise to no end. He knows what's coming. I could say he might as well be a prophet in my book, but he's right on it. Stood beside our J6ers the whole way through. Still is. Every Sunday he comes on. I try to pass along as much as I can. Yeah, my state has no record. My state of birth, West Virginia, has no record. So I have to prove that I am who I am. Well, Social Security I got a notarized copy from Social Security to send them. That wasn't good enough. I had to send them 3 forms, which I had to pay for, you know, my marriage license. I'd send off for it, pay for it. I'd send them my voting county voting secretary to get my voting record. And what else did I have? Oh, my youngest child's birth certificate. Had to send for that too because everything got gone in one way or another. So it all costs money. I don't understand. You're on that only country road in America, then are you? Yeah, I'm on that country road. Take me home to the place I belong. West Virginia, Mountain Mama. Yeah, yeah, yeah. These educated people think all the people in Appalachia are stupid. You know, you hear these college breds out in California talk about Appalachian people like they're sitting on the porch with their moonshine and the guitar and their banjo and picking all over the countryside, which they do. You know, they have fun. That doesn't mean they don't know anything. Some of the most brilliant minds in our country have been from West Virginia. The mathematician, I can't remember his name, but he was the most brilliant mathematician ever to be born. Was from West Virginia. You know, these people, you know, they they think because they get a college degree and education that they're smart. Well, they got book smarts, but they rarely have common sense. For virgins. Yeah. In a pig's eye. Yeah, I would trust a simple person more than I would an educated person any day. I mean, you know, we overeducate or undereducate. I haven't figured that one out yet. You know, whether they go in dumb, come out smarter, or whether they go in smarter and come out dumb. Help me out. I don't know. Yeah, I'm trying to read the comments, but y'all can read them. You know, read amongst yourselves. But pretty good conversation there, guys. I love it. I love it. Yeah, we've got things coming. We've got things going on that a lot are intentional. They're for a reason. We don't know what, but I'm sure they'll let us know because they love to let us know what they're doing on the sly. And right now, these big data centers are the demon. We don't need that much. What do they do with that information anyway? Well, blackmail, more power. The more you know, the more power you have. That's a proven fact. The more information you have, the more power you have. Think about that. We all talk. And unless actually affects you as an individual, we don't act on it. And that's the truth. We just sit back and say, well, somebody will take care of it. There's people who live in that town, they'll take care of it. They'll stop them. I hope so. I hope so, Sherry Bell. I'd say your whole name because my phone keeps popping up. Yeah, Terry has the right idea doing these communes. But everything, what scares me is, what are they going to hit first? They're going to take out the ones that are trying to survive without any interaction. That's always what happens. You try to live off the grid away from it, and they try to come and stop you. And they will try hard. I don't know the answer, people. I'm just, what? Paul Revere? Take it or leave it. Believe me or not. But just open your eyes and research it. Look at it. Deal with it. Let them know you're not going to take it. And I don't see it happening. How many on here can actually say you've seen anybody really doing any concerted effort against any of this? Yeah, whoa, ooh, you said a lot there, Terry. Breaking it down, that's what I'm talking about. The big numbers, religious, a political group, hiding behind religion can go a long way. They're showing us. They are showing us. You're right. You're right, Jerry Bell. We don't even know our neighbors. Well, Dan here, he got all the neighbors. He's doing our work for us here. We do know our neighbors around here. Boy, howdy! Oh my goodness! What? We've got everything. Old people, woo. Other nationalities, woo. We got it. But I'm sure each and every one of us will stick up for each other here, because there's about a flag in every yard. And we talk about it. We talk about it. But a lot of places, you live in an apartment complex, you don't even know the person next door. You live in a house for 10 years, you don't know your neighbor. A lot of people do. I'm not saying not everybody, a lot of people do, but it's getting worse and worse and worse. Nobody trusts anybody. How can you trust people? I've seen people change overnight. I've often said Probably some of you heard me because you've been around me. Most of you, we've talked together quite a bit. But I think this cloud seeding with chemicals is intentional to fog our brain, mainly the frontal lobe. You know what the frontal lobe does. When you're a young kid, the frontal lobe is where our common sense comes from. Well, they say at 25, your frontal lobe is supposed to be developed to what common sense you have and what you will have is completely developed to what, your frame of mind will be the rest of your life. If they kill its function, kids do things just at a spur of the moment. They don't rationalize it. They just say, "Oh, that looks like fun. Boom, I'm going to do it." They have to be guided, nurtured, shown the way. They have to be cultivated. And right now it's being cultivated to the liberal side of thinking. The liberal side of thinking. What better way to cultivate it is if you numb it to begin with? By bringing it down in the air we breathe. Do I hear? Heck yeah. Because you see it day in and day out. I'd say people up to the age of 50 with very little common sense. And that's the ones become Karens. I mean, I know some good people that are absolutely total Karens now. Think about that. I mean, how do we protect ourselves? Thank goodness Governor DeSantis stopped most of it here. I'm saying most because every now and then you see one or two going up, and you can't cover all the bases. And they're going to do it. Whenever they see a hole, they're going to stick their finger in it. They're going to do it. But we need to report it. Keep on top of it. Other places, they're still going hog wild. But hopefully we can get a handle on it. I'm not a doctor, but I say, there's ways to combat the negativity of heavy metal. And we need to research. And we could go a long way, to protect ourselves. And that, this is just for entertainment only. I'm just putting out some ideas to think about. That's right, Nobby. And they've come with ways with clean coal. They've come a long ways with coal. It's abundant. It's abundant. It's like when I was a teenager, back in the 60s, they hit what they called the biggest oil reserve in the USA in Ohio. And I was taking a trip to Europe with the Ohio Youth Choir in 66. They had to make a law that the oil companies could only put one well every 10 acres. Because everywhere you looked, there was a well. There was one across the street from me. It was like less than 100 yards away. Burn that propane up all night long. All those muck ranges. Boy, don't try to walk through them. You'll sink up to your neck in muck. But anyway, back to the story. they were giving me donation to, spend while I was in Europe. And the guy, I asked him, how long is this going to last? He says, son, we could drill, ship 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year for 200 years and never scratch the surface. You go up there now, they are all capped up, not working. Well, they may be now. I'm not there now, but I'll have to ask a few friends, if they're back in production. But the one across from me is, just a few pipes there, closed off, and a park beside it. A park beside the capped oil well. And they tell us, that's just Ohio. And we're talking about how many years is Texas out west, how many years Montana, you name it, hitting these oil wells with no end. And they tell us we're going to have an oil shortage. Oil is what makes this world go round. That's why God produced oil, made it so we get the oil. And, it's our lifeblood. And we believe this crap that they're feeding us. Look at all the Mideast oil. They're fighting a war because of friggin' oil. Well, not for the oil, but the Iranians, they're trying to, run the Middle East with threats of nuke. With a threat like that and seeing what they did, I thank God that we at least try to stop them, slow them down. That's right. And that's the way the world operates. We have to show force or we're just run all over. That's part of the devil's plan too. He knows, that we're peaceful people. But God tells us, sometimes you have to take up that sword. You got to wear that armor. We have to wear the armor. Not just wear it, use it. And we're not using it. We might be wearing it, but we're not using it. Yep. Depending on everything. Oh, they cut off my food stamps. How am I going to eat? I can't do this. I can't do that. You save for stuff, work for stuff, they take it away from you. They want us all dependent. They want us all dependent. And there's a lot out there, they're trying to pass the news along and they can't keep up with it because it costs to do everything, And they call live streamers beggars and bums and grifters and, tell them they don't know what they're talking about, but yet they see it come to pass day in and day out. You don't have to believe me. You don't have to trust in me. Research it yourself. I mean, it's there. I mean, every day we all complain and talk about it, but we don't do anything. You just sit back and say, it doesn't affect me, but it is affecting us now. It's affecting us big time. All these things that are going on, it all adds to the pile. All these protests, all these marches, all these anti-government stuff, all these oil wells being shut down, all the wars we had to fight to stop people from trying to annihilate us. These people want to take over the world. No ifs, no ands, no bets. Whatever they have in their arsenal, they're going to use it against us until we stand up and say, stop. It's going to keep going. Like I said quite a number of times, we should be surrounding, in the warmer days, we should be surrounding Detroit, even New York, and 5 times a day blow our horns like Joshua did around those cities. Don't go into the cities. Don't try to communicate with them. Don't try to preach to them. They ain't going to listen. Just make the same noise to the Lord that they're making to their whatever. They're not worshiping a God. They're trying to rule the world and using their Allah to do it. Because they know everybody wants to believe. They want to believe in the, everybody wants to believe. And they take advantage of us in God, in their God's name, because Allah is not our God. If you're a Christian, and the Bible was way before the Quran. You get these people on these panels and they start talking about the Al Qaeda. They try to talk like them, make fools out of themselves. Al Qaeda was Al Qaeda. It shows their ignorance. I don't know. I don't know what more to say. I just hope everybody uses their thinking cap and their eyes, rationalization, and see we're being bombarded from every which way. We can't concentrate on one issue out of all of them. We have to concentrate on everything, and the only way we can concentrate on everything is our belief in God, and in our belief that Jesus can help us no matter what comes out of it. That's right. That's right. Could you imagine, in those communities, the women are less than dogs, even in the good families. Women are looked on as, property, and not at the top of the list either. In fact, their pets are more higher up than the women. That's sad, and these women, they act like they enjoy it. Take up for their men. I you know, I don't know. What say you? This is what we're up against. A mentality like that want to take us back to the ancient ancient civilization, really, because they're so far back in history that, wow. I just can't fathom why anybody would want to live like that. Women with little rectangle on their eyes is all you could see. Talk about slavery. obedience. That's it. That's its highest point. That is its highest point. We should revere a woman. They're our soulmates, our guides. They're there to guide us along, keep us in tow, not put them in a corner and say, sit there, woman, on the floor. Give the man the chair. I've seen that happen. Unfortunately, my three oldest granddaughters, their paternal grandparents are Muslim, and they both passed. The grandmother just died last week, but we were visiting their house in Toronto, and I had my wife and her sister, and we were visiting, and Mohammed said that to his wife. I said, no, she can sit where I'm sitting. I'll stand. No, 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 no. Not my house. But they were friendly as, can be to every, any other way. But when it's to their women, I told them, you shouldn't treat her that way, Mohammed. And I didn't go back. But they always visited when they come to Florida. They always come see my parents and me and my wife. And, they were with us when Saddam Hussein was captured. Boy, they partied. Oh, man. That's right. It's not for me either. Not at all. And I let him know that I didn't stand for that. But we believe the same. We just believe Jesus is a prophet. No, Jesus is not a prophet. Prophets don't do what Jesus did. And people say, oh, that didn't happen. But no, it's documented, well documented in history as well as the disciples. They're verifying a lot of the stuff that Jesus did. Everybody, talk, oh, it's a fairy tale, it's fiction, it's not real. Just they said that happened, it didn't happen. No, there's evidence, everything is written, is coming to pass. Every day is something new coming out. This solidifies what the Bible says. We just have to pay attention, read it, believe it, have faith. It's not a religion, it's a faith. You believe in God as a faith, it's not a religion. Religion's for the birds, If religion was good, the Mohammeds would be right, the Hindus would be right, the Buddhists would be right, every religion in the world, But we don't go by the religion, we go by faith. And faith is all we have. Well, guys, it's getting late. I'm keeping everybody up. 11 people here. I appreciate you guys. I know there'll be more on later, that miss it and come on and see it. But I don't care. Everybody share it, pass it along, like it, if you like it. Even if you don't like it, you give a thumbs up. But I love all you guys. Like I say, I pray. Even pray for the haters that to come to realize, that we're all in the same world. We got to live together. So good night, y'all. And I'll try to get back on more. I have this thing with my throat and my voice. It's getting older. It's getting rickety. But like I say, I'm going to be here. I'm going to be here. And hopefully a lot more. Most definitely a lot more. I've got to stop some of this crap. somehow, some way, we're doing a lot of crap we shouldn't be doing. And it grieves me to no end. Makes me sad. Really saddens me. And what is this? Today's my sister's birthday. But anyway, I will definitely be back on the 24th on Ricky's birthday. And we love you, bud. I mean, we miss you so much. That was one intelligent fellow. And to that, I'll close. Y'all come back now, here. Good night. Love you guys.